y'all. 4-1, 4-2 exponent rules. Here we go. We're going to pick up where we left off. We were talking about quotient rule, and now we're going to go into the next rule. So we've done rule 1, 2, and 3, and here we go. So now when we flip it around and we have x to the third over x to the fifth. Now, if we do the rule, then this one's going to be x to the 3 minus 5, which is going to give me x to the negative 2. That's negative. Let's think about that a little bit. So let's go back to the fraction way of understanding this. X to the third is x to the third over x to the fifth, which is 5 of them. And we did our little fraction thingy where we knew that this was 1, and we know that that's 1, and we know that that's 1. And so this has given me a 1 over x to the second. Okay, so now this rule works and that rule works. Are they contradictory? What are we saying here? Well, in math, rules don't contradict. That's the beauty of math. They are always true and they always work. They're always going to work. And so what we have here is just the development of a new rule. So this basically tells us that x to the negative 2 is equal to 1 over x to the 2, that these are the same. That's what math is going to tell us. Because we don't want to violate the rules. Once it's a rule and you can't break it. And there's no contradictions. And so we have developed a new rule, which we see here. This is rule 4. Negative exponents actually mean reciprocal. Okay, so now which way do you do it? It does not matter to me. But this one is the simplified one. It is better to have all positive exponents than it is to have negative exponents. So what we're going to be doing is that anytime we see a negative exponent, we're going to flip it and turn it into a positive. So just looking at through these examples that I have here, this one right here, x to the negative 3, that's going to be 1 over x to the positive 3. Okay, we get to flip. This next one, 2/5 to the negative 3, well, again, we're going to flip. It's called reciprocal, and then the exponent becomes positive. Okay, and so that would be 5 to the third over 2 to the third, and if I wanted to do the numbers, I could be 125 over 8. And then this last one is kind of tricky. It's like it's flipped, but it's in the denominator already. So if it's in the denominator and we need to flip it, it's going to go to the numerator. So the 4 and the 5 will stay, but just this guy is going to flip up to the numerator. So we have 4x to the second over 5. Just the negative part gets to flip. So that's the negative exponent rule. All right, let's try the next one, number 5. Last one. All right, this one is very similar to the one we did before. If we have a to the 4th over a to the 4th, following one rule, the quotient rule, we have 4 minus 4, which would give a to the 0. But if we follow fractions, then all of these are 1, and I just get 1. So what does that tell you? Well, that's the new rule. That's the 0 rule. A to the 0 is equal to 1. Or anything to the 0 power is going to be equal to 1. So this is very hard for people to understand. They don't like that. But if you let it sink in and understand the division behind it, it makes sense. So 5 to the 0 is 1. Okay. This one right here says x plus 7 to the 0. Well, anything to the 0 power is 1. All right, now what about this one over here? There's a negative here. Remember we did that negative earlier? We changed that negative into a negative 1. So now is the negative raised to the 0 power? I'm afraid not. This is negative 1 times 1. This is 1. So this time my final answer is going to be negative 1. This negative is not being raised to a power. Okay. Now, this next one's kind of a trick one. You have 4 to the 0 plus 5 to the 0. Well, 4 to the 0 is 1. 5 to the 0 is 1. And 1 plus 1 is 2. Good job, y'all. All right. So now, just quickly, we're going to look at some combinations. We're going to take another video in just a few minutes to do the combinations. And we are going to go back over each one of these rules. Power rule, you multiply the exponents. Negatives, we flip. You're multiplying, you're going to add. If you're dividing, you're going to subtract. And then we're going to do the numbers. So I summarized those for you here, because the more you summarize, the more it's easier to remember. It's hard to remember all those words. Shorten it up. It's a good memorization thing that you can look at and take care of and try to remember. So go. It's just math, y'all. And hope you enjoy this video. Hope you're learning. Stop the video and practice and see where you go.